Hey yogis and yoginis. Today's practice is introducing the yamas and the niyamas as a foundation to not just our yoga practice, kind of to life in general. Once we start practicing yoga, if you're a male, we call you a yogi. If you're a female, we call you a yogini. My students termed me Yogi Mills because it was just an easier way for them to call me. So a yogi is a yoga practitioner in general. If you're not comfortable with a gender, that's totally up to you, okay? When we talk about the yamas and the niyamas, if you did not do last time's practice, you might want to go back and do it first because it was just a basic overview of everything leading up to our final goal, I guess, of yoga, of bliss, of inner peace, of inner zen. According to yoga, if we're not practicing the yamas and the niyamas, we don't get to reach the inner peace and the bliss and the zen that yoga brings, mostly because we're not comfortable within ourselves. We feel misaligned within who we really are, and we feel misaligned with how we're treating others and how we're treating ourselves. We will take 1 day per yama and 1 day per niyama throughout the next coming weeks, so I don't want to give everything away and tell the same stories that I will tell on those days. But the biggest thing to understand about the yamas and the niyamas, there's 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, and they're kind of like do's and don'ts. So like if you have a practice with like the 10 commandments or something like that, they're not religious based with the yamas and the niyamas, but they're kind of similar in the thou shalt not or the thou shalts. Yamas and niyamas are things that help make us intentional, reflective leaders in our own lives. If we come to our yoga practice and we're constantly just taking our aggression towards ourselves, our negativity towards ourselves, and we're practicing that way, like, oh, I hate my body, and my body's not good enough, and I'm going to compare my body to other people's, and I'm going to force my body into poses that really are hurtful to my body, we're not benefiting ourselves. So we want to use our yoga practice as time to honor ourselves, to honor our bodies, to really tune in and listen, start noticing the mental chatter. In yoga, we call it the monkey mind, okay? So looking at your monkey mind, what are your continual thoughts that you have going on over and over and over? Yoga just invites you to start being conscious and aware, because you cannot hit pause, rewind, reprogram until you start being aware of the thoughts that you have. The really crucial thing about the yamas and the niyamas is that you are not quote unquote sinning if you don't do any of the yamas and the niyamas. It's more like if you have a peach that you take off the tree and the peach is hard and you say, I can't eat this peach, this is a bad peach. And most of you would say, Miss Mills, is not a bad peach, it's just not ripe yet. So if we're not good, quote unquote, for lack of a better word, at the yamas and the niyamas yet, the intention of yoga doesn't say you're a bad person or you're not a good person. It just says you're not ripe yet. You haven't learned yet. The idea is there's always room for growth. So if you have someone in your life that maybe doesn't treat you well all the time, you might say they have room for growth. They just haven't learned yet. Maybe they haven't learned to love themselves yet, and so they're not as capable of loving other people. Okay, so the yamas and the niyamas really just create a reflecting pool for us. It's like you put up a mirror in front of yourself so that every time you act in life or react, those of you that like to get angry and just kind of explode a little bit, we set up a mirror to watch. We set up a mirror to watch our reactions. We set up a mirror to watch how we think about things. We set up a mirror to tune into our choices and how we practice, okay? So the yamas and niyamas, like I said, we will be covering more in depth in the next coming weeks, so get excited. I hope there's things in there that are beneficial to you and will really help you to become self-reflective and watching how, not just how you practice your yoga, but really how you live your life. Today's practice, we're going to do a 30-minute practice. It will not be completely seated on the mat like it was last time, and then we'll finish with a little meditation and final relaxation, shavasana. We are going to do some pranayama today. The pranayama that we're going to do today is called Nadi Sharana. So last time when we finished practice, I had you lay on your right side to open up the left nasal passageway with the intention of cleansing and opening opening up that calming channel so you get to move throughout your day with a sense of peace and calm. The right channel, if you listened to the video last time or you were in class on the Zoom and we talked about it there, is the active energy channel, okay? So we're gonna do a practice called Nadi Shodhana, which translates as alternate nostril breathing. We're gonna breathe in one side, close, breathe out the other side, breathe in that side, close, breathe out the other side. The intention is to open and cleanse both channels, okay? Later in the year, we're gonna talk about the chakra system, which is Shumna, your central energy channel, and all the energy centers that run up and that cross through the nasal passageways. If you can't breathe, you know you don't feel well. Whenever you have a cold or the flu or something, or you have allergies or something in your nasal passageways are blocked, your energy is low, you can't focus, you can't think, maybe you have anxiety. So the purpose of this practice is to open up the nasal passageways. So you might need to hit pause and go get a tissue or something. I will stay close to the camera so you can see how it's done. Try it with me. I'm kind of excited that you get to do this at home and without a room full of people watching you, so you maybe don't feel as awkward. So hopefully that's really cool because you just get to do all the weird yoga stuff, if I'm gonna judge it as weird, in the privacy of wherever you are, okay? So you're gonna take your right hand. I'm not gonna mirror you on this one because we always use the right hand, so I'm gonna use my right hand. And you're gonna interlace your middle and index fingers, and then you're gonna take your thumb and your index finger on either side of your nose, and then you're gonna rest your index, your middle and, what's that one? Your pointing finger, in between your eyebrows on your third eye, okay? So you're not gonna close anything yet, you're just going to rest it lightly, and then you're just gonna breathe. So your other hand can just come into chin mudra and rest on your lap. Let your eyes close, and just take a few breaths. If you need to have your eyes open, you can have your eyes open, okay? So your goal here is to feel your exhale on your palm. And as you inhale, feel the difference between your breath. So if you're comfortable, eyes closed, go ahead and just let them gently close so you can really focus on the feeling and the sensation of your breath. Most of you will notice that your exhale is warmer than your inhale. You'll feel a warm breath. Maybe you'll feel one stream, maybe you'll feel two streams coming out. And then as you inhale, you'll feel like a little cool pull. So we always want to set up our Nadi Shodhana practice with just some gentle breathing to notice, where am I today? Now, if your nasal passageways are completely blocked both sides, you're not going to do the practice, but you're just going to hold your hand here and put a little pressure without closing it and visualize light flowing in and light flowing out, and light flowing in and light flowing out. If you find that both of your nasal passageways are open enough to breathe in each side individually, you're going to find out which side is most open. Exhale both. Inhale, find out which side is most open. If you don't know, just pick one. You're going to close that most open side, and you're only going to exhale out the other side. When you're empty, you're going to only breathe in through the open side. Inhaling. Close. Open the other side. Exhale only through one side. When you're empty, breathe back in. Close off at the top. Open up the other side. Breathe out. Inhale in. Close off. And exhale out. So that's the pattern. Continue the pattern at your own pacing. Some of you might be taking slower breaths in and out than I am. I'm talking, so that's going to change the rate of my breathing. Some of you are going to focus on breathing into your ribcage and your belly and really expanding the breath through your body. Some of you are going to add that little ujjayi breath. You might be able to hear me doing the ujjayi breath with my mouth closed. Typically, Nadi Shodhana is practiced 3 to 5 minutes. We're just going to do a couple minutes. When you finish your practice, you want to choose a channel, a nasal passageway, to finish your inhale. So if you need to feel more calm today, maybe you've been feeling really anxious, I would do your last inhale on the left side. If you've been feeling really just lethargic, maybe kind of depressed and can't really get going, I would take your last inhale on the right side. Let's take another breath or two. Decide, do I want this one to be my last inhale, or do I need one more? I need one more. When you finish at the top, you're going to hold your breath. Close both sides for as long as you can. So my swimmers, you're going to hold it a lot longer than the rest of us. You don't want to start like choking and feeling like you're suffocating yourself, because that's not yoga-like. And then you'll release, exit both sides. And then just feel. And then go ahead and open your eyes. So that is our nadi shot in a practice. A nadi is an energy meridian. So if you've done acupuncture, acupressure, you're into Eastern medicine, Chinese medicine, the nadis are the same thing as the meridians, but they come from India. So that's their philosophy, but it's the same concept. It's like your heart and your blood vessels, but your energy centers and the energy pathways. Okay, so the idea is to open those up. So go ahead and come to your practice space. I'm going to give us an ambient sound today and set our timer for 30 minutes. And today we'll do, what's this one? Let's do this one, exciting. All right, my lovelies. Come into child's pose, okay? If child's pose doesn't work for you, please remember that you are welcome to do a seated beginning practice. So knees together more for the low back, knees apart more for the hips, you choose, and come on down. I'll come up so you can hear me, but stay down in your child's pose if you've chosen child's pose. Pay attention to your body. Allow it to sink down and just kind of get heavy on your mat. Invite your mind to wash through your body, looking for any tight spots, any stress, any tension, anything that feels like it's wound up tight. And then focus on that breathing that we just did, those two energy pathways. Invite them to open clearly so that your body gets to be filled with oxygen. In yoga, we call breath prana. Prana translates as life force or life energy. So every time we inhale, it's us inviting life to wash into us. The very first thing that we do when we come into this world is take a breath. The very last thing that we do when we go out of this world is take our last breath. So in the in-between space, we want to take a lot of pure breath in, life force, life energy, and breath out. So even if you were just to stay in child's pose and breathe, that could be a yoga practice. Take another inhale. As you exhale, hug your belly. You're going to walk your hands to the right side of your space. Reach as long as you can so your left back starts to open up and melt your head down. I like to rest my head on my hand. Breathe and pull your hips to the left. Breathe out. Go ahead and unwind. Come all the way across to the left side of your space. Reach as far as you can until you feel a little stretch in the right low back and hip, and drop your head down. Now if you're super open and super bendy, you might not feel a lot of physical sensation in some of these poses. So see if you can focus your awareness a little deeper. Inhale. And exhale. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, go ahead and bring yourself centered. I'm going to turn side just so you can see. You can face whatever direction you want. So as you face side, you're going to stack your wrists under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Your fingers are going to spread wide. You're going to round your back up to the sky. My belly button is going to push, so my whole entire back gets round, and then I'm going to melt my head down into cat stretch. Inhale, drop your belly down. Pull your hands towards your knees. Pull the back of your head to tailbone, cow pose. Breathing in. And then as you exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. So we want to follow the flow of our breathing in our bodies. So if you're breathing more slowly than me, move more slowly. One more down. Come neutral spine, and you're going to lift the heels of your hands. The goal is to get a straight line from the shoulder to the first knuckles, but I know sometimes hands are not as flexible, so you might need to stay lower. So you're just going to pick up your hands and lower back down. Go as far as you can, okay? If it's too much, you can walk your hands back and have a little bit more weight in your knees than your hands. We spend a lot of time on hands in yoga, whether we're doing planks or downward facing dogs, sometimes handstands. So we want to make sure, or an arm balance, so we want to make sure that the wrists are prepared to help keep the wrists injury free. Lift it up and hold. I'm going to do one side at a time for you here so you can see what it feels like. So you're just going to do one hand, turn your fingers towards your knee. If your forearm feels like knives are jabbing into it, you'll walk your hand back and then you'll do the other side, okay? If your forearm feels fine up here, you're going to leave your hands out further away from your knees. You're going to spread your fingers wide, kind of grip the mat like you're gripping a basketball, and then start to lean back. Breathe in. And breathe out. So we want to connect our mind to our bodies in our practice. So visualize your breath swirling through your forearms. Inhaling. And exhaling. Now if you're feeling enough sensation, you are going to ignore me, stay here and breathe. If you're not feeling like a ton of sensation, you're going to start to lean back, pick up your palms so they face forward. You're going to start to melt your elbows down to your mat. And just give a little shift from side to side in your hips. Then we're going to come into what we call toes pose, screaming toes pose, it's also called in yoga. So if your knees are very sensitive, I suggest that you get a towel and fold it up under your knees or a little pillow or something. Notice that my toes are like I'm in like a releve, okay? So the balls of your feet and your toes are tucked down. You're going to sit your hips back onto your heels and then stack your spine. Hands are going to come just stack and close your eyes. Imagine that you are at the beach, nice, soft, sandy beach. And your feet are just sinking down. So there's no resistance. Breathe in. And breathe out. The ball of the foot in reflexology or foot zoning represents the lung spot. So if the ball of the foot is really tight and you have a hard time breathing, you might massage the ball of your foot after we practice today. If you use essential oils, you might put some essential oils on the ball of your foot. Peppermint, eucalyptus, spearmint are typically really good for lung issues, but frankincense and lavender can also be really beneficial as well, or just anything that you like. The big toe in foot zoning reflexology is representative of the brain. So if you struggle with depression, if you struggle with anxiety, if your big toe is really, really tender in this pose here, I would take it and just massage it after class, or even hit pause and just sit and massage that out. And like I said, if you have essential oils, lavender is typically calming, peppermint's typically energizing, frankincense is typically just very healing, they call it a spiritual oil. Orange, grapefruit, citrus oils are more elevating for the spirit, so those are really great ones for depression if you struggle with that. And it's just something to try. Okay, it might sound kind of hokey, it might work for you, you might not like it, so just extra information for you. Okay, so go ahead and come down. Pick up your feet, hopefully your toes did not fall off of your body. Give your feet a little flex back and forth, and then we're going to come into our plank position. So you're going to set your hands down on your mat or down on your practice space, and you're going to extend your legs back. From here, your knees are going to come down to the mat. Your elbows are going to stay close into your body. You're going to see if you can scrape your ribs with your elbows to lower down flat. Extend one leg at a time. And you guys have already done this pose with me. Coming up into a low cobra. So low cobra, shoulders down, heart shining forward. Pay attention to your back, okay? If your back hurts here, I don't want you to force yourself and push up into it, okay? That's where our yamas and our niyamas come into play. Are you practicing in your body with aggression? Are you not paying attention to when things don't feel good? You're doing it anyway, okay? Press down to lift up if it feels good. So really pay attention to that concept of, am I doing things that don't feel good to me? Am I doing things to fit in with the crowd because I don't feel accepted? Am I doing things that my friends are doing because I want to be accepted, or maybe I'm numbing out because I don't want to feel what I'm feeling? Okay, really tune into what you're doing and why. Breathe in. As you exhale, come on down. You can tuck your toes, bend your knees, lift your hips, push your arms straight, lift back to plank, pull your hips back. I like to walk my feet in a tiny bit, just feels good to me. And then drop your head down and shake your head no. And then give your head a little nod yes. Because we want to practice saying both in life depending on what feels best for us. Walk your feet to your hands. Some of you might want to put your hands on your shins if you're used to using a block and you have your block close by. Block is great to elevate the floor to you. That's the whole purpose of it. And if you have Gumby hamstrings, go ahead and melt down. Soften your knees a tiny bit. If you're comfortable lifting your hands off of the surface, you're going to make two fists. Take them to your hamstrings and just give them a little rub. Breathe in. And breathe out. And then release your hands, lift up. Plant your hands, step back again into your plank. You can put your knees down like we did last time. Some of you might already have a practice of like calisthenics exercise where you're used to doing a push-up. But this push-up, our elbows are narrow. So lower yourself down, flatten out, and roll up. If you didn't roll up the whole way last time, and it feels good now, be my guest. If it didn't feel good last time, it might not feel good yet. So stay low if you need to. Inhale. Exhale, melt down. You can extend the legs and push straight up or push over the knees. Or from down, you can lift and just pull your hips straight back. Take a breath in, downward facing dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale. So you're sitting in your body. That's the purpose of this pose. So as you sit, can you watch? Can you observe? If you need to lift your heels or bend your knees, are you lifting your heels or bending your knees? Can you tune into where your body needs some breath and send the breath to that space or those spaces? Inhale one more time. And then as you exhale, hug your belly. Walk your feet to your hands. Lift up halfway, maybe hands on shins. And then melt back down. And then you're going to reach your arms wide. If you need to walk your hands up your legs, walk your hands up your legs. Lift tall. Take hold of one forearm. Reach up and over to the side. Classical half moon. Inhale, center, lift. And reach up and over. So we're going to do what we call Surya Namaskar A. Surya Namaskar is a salutation around the sun. The purpose is to heat the body. Inhale, reach up. As you exhale, fold forward. Drop your head. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Plant your hands, walk your feet into your plank. You choose knees down or legs straight, I don't care. And then inhale, your spine up or stay low. As you exhale, lower down. Push off your knees, roll over into your down dog, however you want to get there. Inhale. And then as you exhale, start to walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. Exhale, fold yourself in. You can round your back up if that feels better, or flatten your back, coming all the way up. And then hands to your heart. We call this Anjali Mudra. So your palms are pressing, thumbs at your sternum. Roll your shoulders up and back, soften your knees, close your eyes. Pay attention to sensation. Pay attention to breath. We're going to do that 2 more times without stopping. Open your eyes, release your hands. Inhale, reach out, reach up. Exhale, forward fold. We call this Uttanasana. Drop your head at the bottom. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Hands on shins if you need to. Plant your hands, walk back into your plank. Notice which foot you step back with, because on the other side, I'll invite you to use your other foot. Push the ground away and see if you will lift your thighs into upward facing dog. When you come back in, you might take a push-up, press, and lift. So you choose how you go. I'll show you different options. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. One more breath in. The foot that you step back with, walk forward with that foot this time. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. And fold down again. Inhale, lengthen up. Step back with your other foot. Chaturanga. We call this high to low push-up. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. You choose. I don't care. And then you might just lift your hips and flick your feet over to your down dog. Or you can do a push-up, or you can lower down onto your knees and then push off of your knees to come back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Walk with your other foot up to your hands. Lift up halfway. Exhale, fold. Reach your arms all the way up to the sky. And bring your hands to your heart. Close your eyes. So typically yoga, depending on the kind that you do, will start off with sun salutations. You'll do a certain number of rounds. Some schools of yoga have, like, always we do 5, or always we do 10, or whatever they do. Ashtanga always does 5 Surya Namaskar A, and then they move into Surya Namaskar B. So breathe in here. Exhale, release your hands. Some schools of yoga do 3. You're gonna bring your big toes to touch, okay? Your heels are slightly separated. You're gonna sit back like you're going to sit in your chair. Some of you will want to take like chair back and leave your hips high. Some of you will want to take chair bottom and take your hips a little lower. This is Utkatasana. Breathe in. Lift your toes so you can make sure your weight is in your heels, and then spread your toes wide, put them back down. Take another breath, reach long, and then cactus your arms. You're going to bend your arms and then lift your chest, hug your belly. Breathe. Your legs start to shake a little bit. Fabulous. Welcome to your body. Inhale. As you exhale, straighten, release, fold down. Inhale, lengthen out. Pick a leg, step back with that leg. Chaturanga. Inhale. Open up, cobra or upward facing dog. And then you choose how you want to go back to your downward facing dog. You're going to start with your, I'm going to do my left leg, okay? You can do whatever leg you want, but I'll be facing you when we come up. Inhale. As you exhale, you're going to pull that foot in between your hands. So when I first started yoga, my foot would hit about here. So if that's you, I suggest you pick it up and help it, okay? Another thing to help you is when you lift from that down dog and the legs up, lift the standing heel, round your back, hug your core to make space for the foot to come through. Please make sure you have a 90-degree angle here with your knee above your ankle so that your bones are stacking and you're not going to jack your knee. Your back foot is going to drop, okay? I like my heels a little bit separated with my back foot a little forward because my hips are sometimes not as open and it feels better. Some of you might want your foot further back depending on your flexibility, okay? Mobility of your hips. Release your hands, sweep up, warrior one. We've taken this pose before. Sink into your legs, reach into your arms. Think of melting shoulders, flattening that quad down. Inhale. As you exhale, open up into warrior 2 or Virabhadrasana 2. And take your gaze to your front fingertips and breathe. Find your focus. Inhale. As you exhale, reach forward, windmill yourself down to your fingertips. Lift your back heel, step back to your plank. For those of you that want to challenge, you're going to float the leg as you lower down. If you don't want to challenge, don't take it. Push, lift, inhale. Pick a way to get back to down dog. And then you will lift your other leg. Breathe in. As you exhale, lift, hug, round your back, put your foot in between your hands. If your foot did not make it all the way, pick it up and help it. You're looking for that 90 degree. You might need to shimmy your back foot back so you have a deeper lunge. And then your back foot's gonna spin. So I'll be facing away from you this time. Reach up, sink down, shoulders plug, heart lifts. Inhale, find your focus. Exhale. Take a breath in. Open up to your warrior two, sink down a little deeper, take your gaze over your fingertips. Breathe in. Breathe out. Where's your mind? Bring it into your body. Inhale. Exhale, reach forward, wiggle your arms down. If your low back's bothering you, put your hand on your thigh for support. Lift the heel, step back. If you want more of a challenge, float the leg as you lower down. Your choice. Cobra or up dog. Breathe in. And downward facing dog. Inhaling. And exhaling. Walk your feet to your hands. Take your big toes together and your heels slightly apart. Melt your hips down like you're sitting in a chair. Reach your arms up. Inhale. Exhale. And then stand tall. Release your arms by your sides. I like to turn my toes forward. Some schools of yoga leave the toes together. Roll your shoulders up and back. Close your eyes. Take a breath in. And take a breath out. Then gently open your eyes. You're going to step your right foot forward. Step your left foot back. Spin your back foot like we just did. Slowly your arms open into your warrior two, but this time straighten your front leg. Your hips pull back. Ooh, did you hear my hip pop? Welcome to my hips. Reach. Hand is either going to come to your hip for support, not on your knee, absolutely not, or onto your shin. Reach to stack your shoulders. Take your chest up, open to the sky. If you just fell over, get back up and start again. Some of you will slide your hand down. If you have a block, you can easily use your block to lift the ground to you. Any height on the block is great. Some of you can even put your hand flat on the floor, so you choose. We call this pose Trikonasana or triangle. You'll notice all the triangles that you can see in the body here. Your geometry teachers would love yoga. Maybe you should invite them to do it with you. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now reach the arm forward. You're going to take the hand down to the ground. If you cannot reach the ground and you do have a block, bring your block up in front of you. And then you're going to turn your toes forward. Okay, so this is not a thing. Hands come to quads or shins so you can support yourself or put something out in front of you. If this is a thing, you're going to fold down. The only thing I don't want is your head to hit the ground like mine just did. So if it does, you're going to walk your feet in a little teeny tiny bit and fold down into your wide leg standing forward fold. Breathe in here and breathe out. If you need to bend your knees, please softly bend your knees. Inhale. Exhale. Some of you are going to feel comfortable reaching for the outer edges of your feet. You're going to take hold of the outer edges of your feet and then push down onto your fingertips, widen up your elbows and pull your chest through. Inhale. Exhale. Bend your knees like you're going to sit your bum down in a chair. You're going to turn your heels in, put your forearms on your thighs into what we call horse stance. Okay? Some of you are going to stay. Most of you will probably be more comfortable straightening your arms, putting your hands on your quads, and then just shrugging your shoulders up. This is probably the only pose where we let the shoulders shrug. Some of you might want to push down, but typically letting that shoulder shrug is going to get your hips a little bit deeper in the pose. If you want to do what we call goddess pose, you're going to lift your hands and take Chandra. And if you want to challenge in goddess pose, you're going to lift lower your heels, drop your arms, stand straight. You're gonna rotate to the other side, okay? So back foot's on an angle, front toe's gonna face what is now the front area of your space. You're gonna bend the knee, inhale your arms up, exhale your arms open, so you might be facing away from me. Straighten the front leg, pull your hips back, reach your arm forward. If you cannot reach your shin, hands to thigh stack. If you can reach your shin, place your hand on your shin, but not your knee, absolutely not. And then reach your chest open, reach your fingertips long, stacking your shoulders like there's a wall behind you. And then if it hurts your head to turn up, if it hurts your neck, I should say, turn your chin forward or down. Breathe in, breathe out. Reach that arm forward and down. Bend the knee, turn your toes in. You're gonna heel toe your feet to the middle. You might wanna turn and face me if you're still facing side. You're gonna lower your hips down, bring them back up. About 2 fist widths between your heels. If you have a block or something that you could use to sit on, some of you might prefer that. You're gonna do 2 more, lift and lower. So we did these a couple days ago. Malasana or yogi squat. Lift, plunge your hands, close your eyes. So we're going to come into what we call plop asana. Okay? Plop asana is not actually an asana, but you're going to see if you can lower down onto your mat just using your core. Some of you are going to use your hands, okay, so take your hands back and lower down. I'm going to shift sides so it's a little easier to see. You can face whatever direction you want. You're going to tip your core back, hold on to your hamstrings to start, and just float your feet. Hug your belly in like I'm going to punch you in the gut. I would not ever, because that's not very nice. And then you're going to lift. Okay? When you cough, your abs literally pull into the body. That's sometimes when you're sick, your abs get sore because you cough so much. So pull your abs in like what happens when you cough. Drop your shoulders down. Options on the legs. You can hold your hamstrings the whole time, especially if your hip flexors are really tight and taking most of the work. You could put your hands back behind you for support. You could extend the legs. You could leave your feet ankle, knee parallel to the ground. You could drop your legs down. You can lift. We call this Navasana or boat pose, a little core activation. You can take what we call a low boat and stay down. Maybe give it a try. If that's too challenging, come back up. You can take a high boat. And for my crazy, flexible hamstring people, you can fold yourself all the way in. So take what works for you. Breathe. And then we're going to finish today with pigeon pose. So go ahead and bend your knees. I'm going to keep facing side so it's easier to see. For some people, pigeon is very intense. So if you stretch this knee back and you turn your body over that front leg and your hips are really sensational, okay? This is all the further you're going to come, and you're going to leave that back knee bent. If you have stacked pillows or bolster and you're getting used to bringing those to your practice, you could bring your bolster in and rest on it. Some of you are going to feel fine extending that back leg straight and melting all the way down over that front leg. If your hips are very, very open, your front heel will be out like if you had a square rectangular yoga mat, your shin would be parallel to that front edge, and then you'd be popped up over it and all the way down. You'll notice if I force that, my knee doesn't get anywhere near the ground. So for those of you with a little bit more tight hips like me, you're going to slide the foot back before you square your hips over and then come down. Coming down to forearms might not feel good for you. You might want to leave the arms straight and tuck the chin. You might want to melt all the way down and close your eyes. Breathe. hug your belly. Push into your forearms, lift up. So a yin yoga class would hold this pose 3 to 5 minutes. And it would typically take it when you're not very warm, okay? Other schools of yoga would turn this into what we call king pigeon, Ekapadaraja Kapotasana, where the back foot would be in the hands and the foot would be touching the head, which for me doesn't happen unless I've been practicing for a good hour and I'm super bendy and warm. We're going to turn this into a variation on Asana. So your back foot's going to pull in and around. Some of you are going to put your foot in front of your shin and lift. Some of you will cross your foot outside your quad and lift. Either way, you're going to twist in and hug that leg. Rotating through into your twist. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then unwind. This leg that's now your top leg is going to become your front leg. So swivel it in front of you. Your back leg is going to bend around. You might find that this side needs to stay bent, whereas the other side didn't. So you can fold down here when you're already in your pose. Some of you might want to straighten the back leg, and if you're stacking yourself up with bolster pillows, get that situated. And we'll finish our practice on this side. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to turn that off. Mouth down. Inhale. Exhale. So we started with our pranayama today. Sometimes we'll do it in different orders. If you remember last time, yoga, the 8-limbed path, starts with the yamas and the niyamas, so that we're reflective about how we're practicing. We're watching our thoughts during our practice. We will get more specifically into those. Then we move into the asana and the pranayama. Some schools of yoga would do that alternate nostril breathing after the physical yoga postures and then move into their meditation and their shavasana and their seated meditation after. There's lots of different ways to do the practice, just finding what works for you. So I'm going to offer a mix-up of things just so you can kind of say, how does this work for me? So you have a lot of tools in your toolkit to kind of pull from. Go ahead and sit up. Back foot comes around to plant in front of your shin or outside your quad. Today's question, maybe I should give it to you after the meditation in Shavasana, so you remember, is what is prana? Okay, prana, P-R-A-N-A, translates as life force or life energy, and it's really like, we would just look at it as breathing, but it's more than breathing. It's not just oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. There's a deeper spiritual quality to it, okay? Of every time you inhale, life force washing through your body. Every time you exhale, there's a release of what you no longer need. So make that your intention as you breathe during your practice. I forgot to have you make an intention today. Maybe you did anyway. That as you inhale, you're always open and receptive to what you need. And as you exhale, you're just letting go of what's no longer serving you. It's kind of the general idea. Okay, unwind. Send your legs out. We're going to go straight into our final relaxation today. So feet come about hip width apart, shoulder width apart, lie back, palms open to the sky. If you're using a bolster, slide your bolster under your legs or under your back or under your shoulders. You can also put your stack of blankets, pillows vertical behind your spine. Some people like that one to just give a little lift and the low back still supported. So open your palms. Let your eyes close. If you need to hit pause and get situated and then hit unpause, go ahead and do that. Begin to scan your body from the crown of your head through your forehead, soften the backs of your eyes, soften your cheekbones, soften your jaw, your neck, and your throat. Visualize your throat opening, softening, yourself permission to be truthful with yourself, to recognize that you are good enough, to recognize that you are worthy of the desires of your heart, to recognize that you are you for a reason. And you give yourself permission to remember who you really are. Allow your awareness to wash down through your shoulders, your chest, your upper back, through your lungs and into your heart. What really makes your heart light up? What brings joy to your heart? Those are the things to pay attention to. Do more of that. Your heart will show you your path. Allow your awareness to slide down through your ribs, your belly, into your hips, and let everything just get a little heavier and a little heavier and a little heavier. Allow your awareness to slide down into your right leg and your left leg. Feeling any stress or tension in your legs, just unwind, unravel, and wash out. If your mind wanders away from the sensations of your body, notice the wandering and gently invite it back to feeling the restfulness of your body. And then allow your awareness like a butterfly, just gently floating down to rest on a leaf or a petal. Allow your awareness to rest gently on your breath. And watch your breath like butterfly wings, just gently floating up with the breeze. And down. And the butterfly wings move slower and slower until they almost come to a sense of stillness. There's still a little internal movement because the prana, the life force, the life energy is easily flowing through you. Allow your awareness to slide through your nasal passageways. Invite the left side and the right side to both open fully. And then you will pick a side to roll to. So if you want to feel more calm, as you finish your practice, you will roll to your right side. If you want to feel more energized, as you finish your practice, you will roll to your left side. If you have more time in your day, if you're practicing not on our school schedule, and you want to hit pause and stay in final relaxation longer before you turn to your side, please do that now. If you are rolling to your side, gently bend your knees, bring your feet flat. If you have a bolster underneath you, you might want to shift it. You can use your arm for a little pillow, or maybe you have a legit pillow that you can slide under your head. Take your top arm. If it's not underneath your head, like a little pillow, you're going to wrap it underneath your waist. So just kind of hold it up. But I want you to feel your belly push against your arm as you breathe in and out. Let your eyes stay closed. the energy of the nasal passageways, the left side, the right side, is like the yin yang or the yin yang, whichever way you like that to be said, of the balance within us. The light and the dark, the hot and the cold, the masculine, the feminine, the sun and the moon. We want to find balance for ourselves. We want to begin to notice ourselves falling out of balance so we can stop before that balance gets like a big chasm. We can bring ourselves back to the midline where we feel centered, grounded, spacious, free, where we feel like ourselves. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to use your top hand to push into the ground, lifting yourself up, crossing your ankles. Roll your shoulders up and back a few times. And then sweep your arms up. Bring your hands all the way to your heart. We call this space Anjali Mudra. Namaste. So remember to answer your journal prompt. It is about the yamas and the niyamas that's in Canvas. Please also remember to tell me that you did the breath work, yoga, meditation. You can just kind of combine all that together. And that the question of the day during your practice was, what is prana? And prana means life force, life energy. So have a delightful day, and I hope you guys feel better. Namaste.